This video was made by Taoping Airlines Math Industry. We hope you enjoy this video and have a wonderful learning experience. Hey, Taoping Airlines Math Industry, and we're going to be taking a look at angles. Well, these kind of angles: complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertical angles. What we're going to understand is how do we know that this is a complementary angle, and how do we know that this is a supplementary angle, and how do we know what is a vertical angle. And we're going to prove why these angles are matched with these definitions. We're also going to say that there is going to be an angle in here, and there's an equation right here, so we have to solve what x is. Then we understand what this angle is too. So with these kinds of angles, there's always going to be an x in the equations, so we have to solve what x is, which is representing how wide this angle is in one of the two angles. There is a person we like to give a shout out to because he has proven 30 math formulas and 30 theorems. And the person that we're going to give a shout out to is named Tarrence, and he is one of the most famous mathematicians in the world. And he is always saying, prove this, prove that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, is prove it with all these kinds of angles. Let's start with a complementary angle. So remember, complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. So this is a complementary angle, and we see that this is a 90-degree angle. What is this angle right here? So something plus something equals 90. So we have only one angle that has a number on it. That is 20. So something plus 20 equals 90. What does x represent? What does plus 20 equals 90? Type in the comments below. Well, if we say 90 minus 20, we can easily understand that would be 70. So 70 must fit in here. X is going to equal 70. So yeah, 70 plus 20 equals 90. That is an example of a complementary angle. So remember, complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. Our second kind of angle is a supplementary angle, and that is an angle that are angles that are add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to try and prove that. So here's an example. 130 plus 50 equals 180. Here's an example problem. So here is a supplementary angle. That is 180 degrees. But we understand that this angle right here is 93 degrees. But the other angle doesn't seem like a number. It has a variable and it's an equation. So here's what we're going to have to do. So since here's 180 degrees and here is 93 plus 3x plus 18. That is because we know that there's 93 on one angle, but what's the other angle? We're trying to solve what x represents. So pretty much, we're going to have to simplify this to get x alone. So here's the equation. What we can do is combine like terms. So 18 and 93 can be combined and added because they're not different. If we try adding 3x, that is not a good idea, which we can't do. And it's because we're adding apples and oranges, so that is not what we're going to do. 93 plus 18 equals 111. And here's adding 3x equals 180. We simplified it by one step, but we need to try and get x alone. So why don't we subtract that 111 by 180. And then we'll get 69. Then, since we have 3x equals 69 left, we're going to have to get x alone. So the x has to social distance. So if you divide both sides by 3, we would get 23. That's what x would equal. But we're going to try and plug it in here to see if it's accurate. So 180 is what we're going to try and go for. So 3 times 23, that will represent x plus 18. That will equal 87. So we know that this angle right here should be 87 degrees, right here. And that was 93. So 87 plus 93 equals 180. What's so good about this is that we can double check our work before we turn it into our math teachers or your math teacher. So before you submit your work, you're going to want to double check and insert what you got for x and to see what answer you got for this angle, then add it with the other one to see if you got 180, for example. And with Terrence Cow, he loves to prove math problems and equations. He likes to prove it. And he was accepted in college at the age of 9. That is crazy young. The supplementary angle, here's an example. So here is our last angle that we're going to be reviewing on this video. Vertical angles. So there is an equation right here on this angle and an equation on that angle. How do we know how wide these angles are? By degrees. Well, let's do something. With vertical angles, they make a circle, so pretty much if you add this, and this, you'll make a circle, and that will be 360 degrees. So, like for example, if this is 90 and that's 90, this must be 92 and that's 90 as well, for example. So, vertical lines usually tend to have 360 degrees in them. But in this scenario, we're going to try and figure out how many degrees is in this one, and how many degrees is in this one. So these two are going to be the same. Just like this example right here. This is the same thing as that. Oh yeah, and Terrence Tao is also asking us to prove that as well. So in order to prove that, we're going to have to do more simplifying. We'll get an equation that will look like this. The reason why we have an equal sign is because we understand that this one is going to equal that one. So, we're going to have to try and simplify it. So why don't we say minus that by 12x here, and minus this by 12x. That would be 2x right here. Minus 1 equals 17. So we just did one step of simplifying. Then we have to get that negative 1 to this side. So let's see if we have that negative 1 and turn that into a positive 1. Because if it's negative and it becomes positive and vice versa. So if we add 1 here, we're going to get 18. So 2x equals 18. But we're going to divide by 2 to get x alone. So x is going to equal 9. What happens if we insert 9 into these equations to see if they're accurate? Negative 1 plus 14 times 9, that would equal 125. And this should also equal 125 too. If we do 12 times 9, which is the inserted number for x, that would be 108 plus 17, and that would be 125. Bam! So yeah, these two angles are going to be equal to each other. So this is an example of a vertical angle.
Scientist to the group.
Oh, jeez. Why do I have to do everything?
She's all fired up.
Gary, Mr. Krabs, any hazards on the horizon?
Looking clear so far.
Squidward, keep those circuits warm. Patrick, hang on!
One frozen wasteland later.
That concludes how to find how many degrees is an angle in this video. Thank you for watching Taoping Airlines Math Industry. Like and subscribe.